All right, what's up? Welcome to yet another edition of Mob True Crime with Gene and JC. Today I've got CEO Rod helping out for this particular interview. Welcome, Rod.
What's going on, JC? How you doing, baby?
Oh,
Back
awesome as
at it.
always, man. Thanks. And then we got a great guest today. This gentleman was in literally when people talk OGs, all this triple OG, you hear all these phrases. This guy's literally one of the ones from day one when it comes to the Crips. However, like everybody else from back in the day that is still alive and not in jail, he's learned his lesson. Welcome to the show, Stephen L. Harris.
Hey, glad to be on the show with you, boss. My name is Stephen Harris, and I was born and raised in South Central Los Angeles in 1955 on Hoover Street.
See, definitely. See, I told you guys, definitely old school. So, real quick, like, share, subscribe if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet. And of course, ring the notification bell so that you get these videos quick as they come. And leave a comment in the comment section. Let us know what time it is. So, Rod, let me turn it over to you. I want you to start this off because you know a little bit more about the scene with all this stuff. And kick it off, Rod.
So, yeah, like I say, man, we finna interview Steve Harris, man, AK the Killer One. He got a very real, unique story because, like JC said, he was there from day one. But, I'm just gonna let him do the talking, man. Can't nobody tell a story better than him, man. And to all you kids out there listening, watching this podcast show, man, really pay attention about what this OG finna
Yeah,
say,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
Go and get
Definitely.
at him, big homie.
Hey, what's going on, Hot Rod? Let me introduce myself to the audience. My name is Stephen Harris, government name. Back in the day when I was 14, my gang name was Killer because I was in YA for a murder. And that's why in YA I didn't run with nothing but somebody that had that same type of charge. I was the first Crip to go to jail in 1970. The Crips was formed in 1969, though, by Stanley Williams, Curtis Morrow, AKC, AKA Buddha. Curtis Morrow's Buddha. When you see him on the pictures with Tookie, and he looked like Tookie, but that's Curtis Morrow, that's Buddha. That was my road dog. We went to Bret Hart every day, and we started the dress code. It's nothing like it is today. All that sagging and all that, we didn't do none of that. I'm gonna go when I was a kid. I was the king of the school of all elementary schools in South Central. I never made it past, I think it was about 5 of them because I used to fight a lot. And that's when we moved into a neighborhood that was different from the one that I was from, which they became the Brims down in that area and the 60s. But they hadn't came out yet. Couldn't stop, stealing and running away. But anyway, I for some reason I gravitated to the gang culture, which being it was the Slawsons, the gladiators, the businessmen, and all that type of stuff. But I was too
Okay,
young for that.
let me just stop you real quick, big homie. Like I
Sure,
say,
sure. Come
I
on, Hot
watch a
Rod.
lot of these podcast shows, and like I said, when you use those names, the gladiators and the bishop, what you just said, just really touch on that, man, because that's way before like the hoods and stuff. Let's talk
Oh
a
yeah,
little
it was
bit
a
more about
classic
that.
thing. As a kid, I looked up to a guy named Skillet, and Skillet was the leader of the Slawsons, and he would be at the elementary school that I was at, 68th Street School. He would be there every day when how they have you shoot caroms and play around the school or whatever, how they had the school open. He would be around it, but I was like idolizing this guy, because they say he could fight. I never saw it, even though I ditched a lot and went to a party even once and saw him, but they stabbed him in the neck and almost killed him. But from what I hear, the guy had been beat up and stabbed up quite a bit, but that didn't deter me from still wanting to be an active gang member.
So, at
In
what
fact,
age? So, at what age did you officially join the game? Officially, y'all started the game because you didn't
I,
have to join the
I
game.
would say
You
I
was
would
around when they
basically say
started.
one. I would say basically around the age of 14 because at that time, me and Buddha had separated, and he went into Factor Brookings, and I went into California CYA, which is Fred C. Nellis and Paso Robles. I
Uh
didn't
huh.
ever see Buddha again. Buddha was murdered.
Mm.
Yeah, Buddha was
Okay.
murdered. And Buddha got murdered by a guy that I happened to put under my wing in YA. And
Wow, that's crazy. That's
yeah,
crazy.
it really
But
upset me.
let me say this, man. Like you say, I watch a lot of these podcast shows, man. And, as you know, big homie, I know a little bit, about the game. Being a second
Right,
generation,
right, right.
second, third generation where I'm from. But like when y'all started the game, man, y'all was kids at
Yeah, we were
14,
really, yeah,
man.
I
I know
yeah,
Tookie
we
was a
were
little bit
just
older
kids,
than you, but y'all
teenagers.
was kids, teenagers. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So anyway, let me go from there. So right after that, when we leave up out of the 60 hood and move up over there on Butler and 98th Street, I began to break in houses. For some reason, I knew that was where the weapons was, and that's what I went for. How can I get on? Because guys was bigger than me, like Tookie. So I wasn't finna win no fight with Tookie. So I made sure that I got a gun if I'm gonna be out there. I was fascinated by him. He worked out in our neighborhood right there at Bay's Gym on Vermont. Him and
Yeah.
Jamel, but I
So
didn't too
tell me,
much.
how old was you when you first met Tookie? And tell me a little about
Oh,
about you and
I
Tookie,
had to be. I had to be
y'all
about 13.
childhood.
Yeah, I had to be about 13 when I saw him.
Okay.
See, when he found out who I was, he was ordering me to come to some Crip meetings that I didn't show up to, which was really out of pocket back then. So
Yeah.
anyway, I got into a squabble, you know what I'm saying, and that turned into another case, and I was sent back to YA for a shooting, attempt murder.
So
So now I got,
Tookie told you to show up at the hood meeting, you didn't show up, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't show up, and that
Show
was
up to a
that.
sit down.
As they say today, that would definitely be a DP. Yeah, that would definitely be a DP today. If you was ordered to come to the meeting, right? But anyway, I kept defying the rules, right?
Hey, let the audience know what DP means in the Crip world and gang world.
It's called disciplining, but they disciplining is beat your ass.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah. Oh yeah.
the
All the
discipline is
gangs in California across the board have that policy. Mexicans, Woods,
they gonna jump
Crip,
your ass.
Blood,
That's what they gonna do.
everybody. You get punished if you don't show up for stuff. Go ahead, bro.
So you're gonna take a gang ass whooping. You're gonna be.
I'm gonna tell you something, man. I've never had a DP, but I participated in a few of them, man. But like I say, that was a real DP, a DP back in the day. But Big Tookie say, check this out, killer. You better show up at the meeting. You say, fuck that, Big Tookie, I ain't showing up. Come later,
Because you gotta realize.
huh?
Look, you gotta realize how Rod. I just got out of YA for murder for the 2 years. I wasn't gonna go from what I did to gangbanging because I knew I was gonna get a life sentence.
Right.
Yeah.
I already killed, and I was proud of it that I was in there, and they was calling me killer. I mean, it was, I didn't want to let it go too far to my head as far as it went, and actually killed somebody myself because I didn't kill nobody. My bodyguard did. Because I saw,
but you was charged with you was so you was charged with the
I was
murder.
charged with shit. I saw what happened, but I wouldn't snitch. Another rule as a gun member, I couldn't snitch
On that accomplice stuff.
Right. So I couldn't go out. There's no snitch and take the stand on the dude that did it, you know what I'm saying? But so I had to do 2 years on a silent murder.
Yeah, okay.
So I left youth authority kind of with an attitude and a chip on my shoulder, because I felt like, I didn't do this. And I went right out there and, did something else, but I wasn't trying to gangbang, but it was all around me. I couldn't turn, so all my friends became, what?
No, like I say, when you talk about being in the youth authority and shit, as a youngster and shit like that, man. Like I say, I watch a lot of these podcasts show all OGs say that really was gladiator school, man. So if you really didn't know how
definitely,
to fight,
it was definitely
you had to learn how to fight.
You had to fighting went out the window. You got to learn how to stick.
Yeah, bro. There's juvenile units in L.A., Fresno, as well as youth authority back then. That if you could survive that place, you can survive almost any prison in Cali later. Those places, everyone's trying to prove themselves when they're kids.
Right. Basically, that's gonna be your stepping stones, your proving ground before you get to the pen. So I was already, like I said, when I went to prison in 81. And that's the next time I see. Yeah, that's when I see Took again. He's on in 1750. We in High Power. If y'all ain't familiar with that, that's where they keep all the movie stars and everybody in a major lockdown.
Right. Yeah, that's LA County Jail where they keep everybody in High Power.
The celebrity section.
Yeah, so
Hold
that
on, Nick. Let me just ask you a question. I was just gonna ask you, man. You know that we talked about when you was in the YA, man. Let's talk about that LA County Jail because, like I say, that YA, you know that
oh
YA.
yeah, if you made it through the county in LA, 9 times out of 10 you can make it in when you get to the pen if you don't get caught up in some politics.
Yeah,
But
and with LA, people don't know this, but it's not just a county jail; it's a complex. I mean, it's LA's jail system. It's like a state prison size. You know what I'm
LA
saying?
County
It's
Jail fucked
people
up,
can't
man.
really fathom just how crazy LA County Jail already is like that. Carry on, bro.
yeah, so back then it was, it was more convicts in there than it was people, squares that got busted. So that, like Freeway Rick, all them, I met him and all them in this particular tank back then, which was
Mm-hmm.
special diet. But I was in high power. That's why I was at with Tookie to where I could only like send a kite, you know what I'm saying? Because he's somewhere else and they passing it to him. But I didn't have, maybe one or two talks with him between here and then in high power with him because, he was fighting that murder then facing the gas chamber.
Uh huh. So,
Yeah.
like I say, let me, we got a lot of OGs that's passed away. I know,
Most of
that
them all dead.
Yeah,
Everybody either dead or in prison. I
uh
had
huh.
one homeboy from the name who little Brown. He did like 30 years, and when I got out of Corcoran in '94, and he had a life sentence in, he got out, but he wasn't out maybe 6 months. He died.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Like I said, I talked to other big homie Melvin Farmer, man. He posted on his Instagram. Did you know the brother who just passed away and was on death row?
who you talking about? Pretty boy,
No, Pretty Boy from the '60s. They just had his funeral a couple of days
right?
ago. It's another OG. They found him dead in the cell, man.
What's his name? What's his
yeah, I
name?
heard about it. What?
Man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So
Melvin
I know,
told me.
I
man,
know,
like
I know personally about 3 people on death row, at least from when I was in 1750 when they went out. LaBelle Fire, some Jughead, all them, they was going to death row. Because like I said, I was housed with them people. Donald Hawkins, Doc Holliday, all of them was in 1750 at one time in high
so
power.
that's what they called death row 1750. High
No,
power.
death row is death row, but that's where you gonna be in there. If you gonna get the death penalty, you gonna be in 1750. If you
Okay,
fight the
okay,
death penalty
okay.
case, you gonna be in 1750.
Real quick, you brought up
Hmm.
Corcoran. Were you there when stuff
Oh yeah,
was happening where the guards were snipering?
yeah,
They'd
that
set
was
up blacks and whites
right.
or
Yeah,
north
that
and
was in the
south,
that was
and then
I was
clip.
on the main line, but I wasn't in the shoe. In the shoe is where this
Okay,
was happening, but I was
right.
on the main line on BR when this was going on. So
Yeah,
basically, it was the same type of thing, but I never did no 20 years and nothing like that. The 2, 3 years that I did, and I passed through these prisons just like I was in Folsom in '92 when it changed to a level 2. Then I went, it was just a transition. Then, when they changed to all these different, what they call it, special needs, and see, they didn't have all that when I was in there.
No, yeah,
You,
they didn't
you,
have
you
all
go
that.
into the shoe,
Them
and
shoes,
that's it, or you
50
gonna be on
yards
the
of
main
special
line.
need. Either back then, big homie. Either you had to go to the main line, you had the PC.
It's the main
Like I
line of
say,
the shoe. It ain't no two options. You either gonna PC up, or you gonna stab somebody and be on, or you gonna be on the line and do what you do
so
and
I hear a
stay
lot
out.
of OGs talk about the conditions in prison, man. Like I say, it's kind of different than when you was in prison. That shit was kind of tough, wasn't it, big homie?
Oh yeah, it was real bad. It was real bad. You'd be locked down for months at a time, and all you getting is a sack lunch with a peanut butter sandwich and a piece of salami with 2 pieces of bread and a cookie.
yeah.
Yeah, but like I say,
That,
we
That
talked
food
about
ain't.
cooking,
They
man.
ain't serving exactly the most
yeah,
higher
that's
class
it.
food in there.
Man, like that good
No,
prison food, man.
they
You ain't
got a
got no
special.
money.
In 1750, they had a thing called special diet, and you're going on special diet, right? Special diet consists of everything that everybody ate that week put into a ball of whatever you look like boo boo to me. And that's what
Hmm.
you're gonna eat. You're gonna eat that. It's called a juke ball.
So the juke ball for y'all don't know, man.
That
That's the LA
special
County
diet, you're gonna get a juke ball in the morning. You don't get no lunch. You don't get no lunch. You're gonna get a juke ball at night. That's your dinner for a
jail.
week. You can only be put
Mm.
on a juke ball diet 1 week at a time. 7 days is the most. I seen them faint from that. I'm talking about literally fake because I ain't got no hustle to get nothing but that juke ball. You know, I'd hustle and make. I learned how to fry it up with a toilet paper roll and put it on my thing and heat it up. Put some Dowd dressing on it. Motherfucker tastes good. I, I used to take. I used to get they juke balls from them and give them a candy bar because that would fill me up.
That's right.
You
That's
know,
right, man.
yeah.
You know this one.
But
This
yeah,
like I
I
say.
want to I
You
want to
know.
speak like you said, Hot Rod, about the children and all that, and the young kids out there that are thinking about joining a gang or wanting to be in a gang or whatever. That is not the way. You either going to jail or you're gonna die.
Ain't doing
They're
nothing.
gonna use you for their profit and their gain. Whoever the shot caller is or whatever, they gonna use you for the profit gain of the gang, and you gonna be you the low man on the totem pole. Basically
Mm-hmm.
coming in and your life gonna be miserable. You just decided to choose a life of miserable because it's gonna be a hard ride. See, they think
Man,
it's
for
cool till
real.
they get up in that courthouse and that man talking about 25 years of life. Oh,
And you
now you
gotta do
now
that. And you gotta do that 25 years before you even,
you
go
might
to
have
the
to do
war.
30. I know people that did way more. I knew people that was in there for 7 to life, and they had been done way more than 7 years. Been down 20 years.
Oh yeah, my big homie, man, Big Bo from Harlem, man. He had a 7 life sentence for killing Chuck Connors, the rifleman's son, back in
I
I want
know
to
him.
say
You talking about Big
76.
Bobo? I know him. He's in
Big
Folsom.
Bobo.
Was one of the biggest boys in Folsom back in the day.
Yeah, yes
From all
sir,
them
yes
30s. Yeah,
sir,
I know him.
yes
Yeah.
sir, yes sir. Hey, you also, he just passed away. I know you know my big homie Russell Capers, man. They call him Talib. He just passed away, man.
Did he? He came when Russell Capers came. We was in Solidad together.
Okay, okay,
Me
yeah,
and Russell
yeah,
Capers was
yeah.
in Solidad together.
Man,
But
tell me, like I said, I know, I knew my big homie. I was a kid when he went to prison in '76 or '77 or whatever. But when
right,
he
yeah.
came home, I seen him a couple of years ago. Man, I done heard so many stories. Won't you tell me a story about you and Big Russ when I was in the pen, man?
Well, I wasn't in the same wing as Rusty, but Rusty was calling shots around there for his clique. He had the Hoovers he was running. He
Yeah,
ran the Hoover car.
no, he ran the Harlem car. He not from who he from Harlem.
Oh,
I'm talking
I
about
mean,
Russell Capers, not Rusty.
well, my bad. I'm sorry. I know Russell Capers and BJ. I just got my gangs mixed up.
Okay, okay, it's
Russell
understandable.
Capers is Big James' homeboy.
Yeah, Big James Miller, he
Yeah,
passed
Big
away.
James Miller, the motherfucking rim killer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, he
yeah.
passed away. He
I was
passed
in
away
the
a couple
hole
years
with Big
ago.
James Miller in O-Wing when I body slammed the police in Solidad in '83. The police
Wow.
hit me in the back of the head and called me a nigga. So I just decided to pick him up and drop him on his head.
He
Wow.
Oh,
So,
right.
didn't
all
talk
those
a lot
dudes
after
out there,
that,
y'all
right?
start telling me,
Back then
that
I
good
wasn't
story.
like that. This shirt right here be all filled up. I was a big old joker like that. I was big as Tookie.
Yes, sir.
What's
Yes,
that I
sir.
ride?
I say, I seen Jay Z a couple of pictures, man, back in the day when I guess you was in juvenile hall camp with your
No, that
homeboys,
ain't
man.
juvenile hole. That's the hole in Paso Robles.
Oh, that's the hole y'all took that in the hole in
Yeah,
Paso
that's the
Robles.
hole in Paso Robles. We in the
Okay.
hole. Each one of those black dudes on that picture is in there for something that he did that took him out of the regular population to be put where he was at.
Okay, tell me your story, man, about you escaping from juvenile hall, man. Tell me about that story.
Okay, look, in juvenile hall, I breaks out of camp first. Me and Curtis Morrow Buddha was in the '60s now. It's we the Crips is basically because they just ain't got a name yet. But they mob doing a lot of mobbing up. Me and Curtis Morrow went back to get back to the back then I think it was the Team Post or something on 80 something in Normandy, where they used to have these
Uh-huh.
dances or something, right? But we escaped and came in there in camp boots and everything. And they hurry up and called me because I was on trial for the murder, and I escaped and got out. And so
And that's you and
yeah,
that's
they was
you and Big Buddha, man. Y'all
yeah,
escaped.
yeah, they
Wow.
was yeah, they called Buddha first though. I was the
Oh, they
last
cut.
one to be captured.
Hey,
So
Steven,
how
what's the origin, by the way? Because a lot of people ask, there's all these rumors about how Crips got the name. what's your take on how that name evolved, and you know, obviously there were gangs in LA, but local
True,
gangs,
true,
and then it
truthfully,
evolved. Tell them.
my opinion is this, and I wanted to cap on this. Me and Buddha was talking, right, in our little crew or whatever, about what the name was gonna be. Realized I separate from Buddha when they actually put the name in there. I wanted them to be the Crusaders. You know what I'm saying? And if I had it my way, it would have been on the street. They might have been the Crusaders, but I was not.
The Crusaders.
That's interesting. So
Yeah, that's
we
real.
could have been
You
talking
know, see,
about the
that's a real
Crusaders.
history. That's
Yeah,
a real history right there.
today y'all
No,
could have
I
been
didn't
talking
know
about the
that.
Crusaders instead of the Crips. You know what I'm saying? So when I came out,
Wow.
when I came out of YA, they had already had their name. You know, it was C Mini. They the Crips. You know, as a matter of fact, Hot Rod growed up in the same neighborhood that I growed up in. In packs. When I was in youth authority, realized I hadn't hit the street yet. So they was walking like it would always be 20, maybe 30 of them at a time. So when I would get these passes where the guy that worked in the kitchen, he would let me and these other two guys, and he would take us to LA and drop each one of us off. We gotta be there when he come back and take us back. So we'd be out on the street for about 3 hours. And he'd come back and take us out. So this particular day that he bring us, right, they was like roaming all through the neighborhood to try to knock me off the sidewalk, but I was kind of big then, you know what I'm saying? I just bumped into him and kept it moving.
Yeah.
But that's when they was moving in a lot of, with the crowds. So I asked my brother, what is that? He said, man, that's the Crips.
That's the Crips.
I
Like,
said,
well,
yeah.
we got a name now.
I said, yeah. So I see what I got to come home to, right? But when I came home, it was, come to the meeting. No, fuck the meeting.
But that's like I said, I never heard that, man. I never heard.
Hey, that's a first right here. It was almost the LA Crusaders.
Yeah.
That could have been spread
probably
nationwide.
your
Crusader cliques everywhere, bro.
Yeah.
Crusader sets all over America, bro.
The name, while they was in Factory Brookings and all that. As a matter of fact, when in Youth Authority, it was the guy Michael Harrison, and he was writing butt long on the wall, like graffiti, right? So I tell him, I say, you can't write that on the wall. What you mean I can't write? Man, they taking your shit. Randy, I heard they robbed your ass over there in Kennedy. Took it. Whatever your mama brought you, they took that shit from you, right? So I put him under my wing, right, Rod? He was heavy. His nickname was Heavy, right? I nicknamed him Heavy, right? So I guess he took that weight and he started pushing it.
That's right.
So he started pushing his weight. Man, I found out this boy didn't kill Buddha.
Wow, he killed Buddha. That's crazy.
He killed Buddha. So it was devastating to me. But that was, just like when I was in Paso Robles, my childhood friend Fernando. They OD'd him on heroin and just put him in the alley.
Wow.
Did you know the Davises, Hot Rod?
No, I don't know the Davis, but I want to tap on this, man. Like I said,
all right, go.
We talked about your childhood, you growing up, and joining the Crips at 14, going to juvenile hall kind of deal. But like I say, I'm gonna talk. We're gonna speed up a little bit. Like I say, I met you, big homie, in 1987. We moved from the 30s. We moved. I bought my mama house.
Oh, I was a truck driver. When me and Hot Rod, man, I was a truck driver.
Yeah.
I became a truck driver. That's what I've been doing for the last 25 years, or 20 years or so.
There you go. See, that's what it's about. Is for the
hey,
kids.
That's what I want. That's what I want to touch on. That's what I want to touch on, right? But the same way when I growed up in the hood, the same way I was the drug kingpin or whatever you want to call it when you slanging dope and went to jail for it. Crime don't pay. The best thing I ever did was when and got my CDLs.
That's right.
And I ain't looked back since. I ain't had to break no laws. I ain't do nothing. And that's it. But in other words, even when I was young, my goal, I want to make 1,000 a day, which I'm sure every crook or somebody want to make a quota until they get to where they at. But it ain't nothing like working. You're going to enjoy it more better than ever because you're not going to enjoy fast money. It's going to go fast like you got it.
And the government will take it right back from you. The moment you get successful enough, what
Right,
happens
right.
is they know
Get
who
you
you
a
are
job
too,
and put
and
some
then your
money in
number
the bank
goes
and
up.
save it.
Yeah.
But listen, big homie, see, I was finna get into that, like I said, when I met you in '87, 99th Street, man. You wasn't hustling back then because you was
No,
having
no,
your
no,
money,
no.
man. Everybody in the hood respected you, man, and they better not say getting out of line because yeah, I know you earned your name, from the squadrons, you earned that name, man.
Yeah.
I didn't see not no DPs. I didn't see you put down some demonstrations right there on 99th Street. I mean,
I
one
just
night,
thought
man, me and you.
I just
Listen,
wanted to
let
get
me
to
tell you a
that.
story. Let me tell you me and yo, the funniest story I ever had with you, big homie, and then I'm gonna let
What?
you finish, man. Me and you, man, we was just hanging out. We was at mom's house, man, and then we was just walking, man, and the fucking sheriff department jammed us up. And they were, they was calling you pretty boy,
Oh,
calling
they
you.
know me. You know they knew me.
Everybody thought you used to look like Ice T, man.
You know, they don't know that. But you
Yeah,
know they
that's
had
just
that.
that's just a story I had with you, big homie. That's just one of my stories I had with you, man. We got plenty stories together, man. Because like I said, we moved over
What about
here.
the story when I drove down there in the big rig and we took the big rig to your first little show you had?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, man. I,
Yeah.
I just had to, but I would say that was like 90. I would say that's 98. I was just talking to Malik Spillman about that, man. I said,
Yeah, that was
I'm fresh out
98.
of federal, 98. I'm fresh out
Yeah,
of federal
98.
prison. That's before I won the money with Magic Johnson. And then I'm
Yeah.
like, Steve, we gotta get there. Steve said, how been, little homie? We went, hey, listen, JC, we went to a mansion party in the Hollywood Hills with my partner Malik Spillman. We're gonna have to interview him on the show. But anyway, I say, Steve, I'm fresh out, big homie. I need to get. He like, man, let's go. We was sharp, and we went in his truck, man, the big rig, man. Yeah.
I
Hey,
said,
real quick, bro, touch on people ask all the time about that movie Colors, right? Everybody, because in Cali we already had, Bloods and Crips before that, but then it spread across America. I personally think that with some of that in the movie was a little, they got to movie it up, Hollywood it up kind of
yeah,
shit.
that
Talk
was
about how the Crips and Bloods, but especially Crips, since you would know more about that, the spread, and what it's because there's Crips in Chicago now. When I was moving
right,
weight,
right.
I'd pass through Chicago with my weed bags and all that. I'd see Crips there in the '90s.
I'm gonna just say like this: wherever crack went, Crips went.
For real.
Wherever the crack went, we went.
You know
That's
what's
how that
crazy
was.
though about Cali though is a lot of states have copied all of our gangs, and I'm talking about every racial group too. If you look at the Mexican Mafia MA, in Texas they set up an MA. Arizona set one up, modeled after Cali. With the Woods, the Texas
Yeah,
ABs and all that, they all copied the California guys. Same thing with
yeah.
black dudes. A lot of them, there's lots of Bloods in New York now, lots of Crips in Chicago.
It's more
You know what
bloods
I'm
in New
saying?
York
Cali
than
set a lot of
Crips.
trends.
Yeah,
But
it's
let me say something, big homie, about that movie Colors, man. That movie Colors, man. It really fucked up the world, man. Because like I say, it
right,
wasn't.
right.
Yeah,
They just being in like down south and in the Midwest. They just heard about the gangs and stuff like that. Like the
And
big
that's
homie
how they
said, the
made the
gang.
movie. What they
Yeah,
heard.
let me finish. I'm let you talk. They just heard about it. Like you said, big homie, the gang started in the '60s, and then in '69, that movie didn't come out to '87. So they heard about this, and then once they
Right,
put
that's all
colors
they
on the
did. Heard about
vaccine,
it.
that's when the gangs went across the world. You feel me? Then, like you say, wherever crack was, gang was there, but the gang was there before the crack came. The crack just came and made them brothers have
Yeah,
money.
gave him some
You
work.
know,
It gave him some work.
Yes, yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes. But that movie, I never liked that movie Colors, man, because it did depict the gangs right, like the
yeah,
song, like the county jail scene and all that shit. And then if anybody know anything about the gang culture, black gangs didn't fight Mexican gangs back then. So that movie,
yeah.
that
Back
portrayed it
in the day,
wrong.
you would see
yeah.
Mexican dudes that would jump into the Crips and stuff. Now it
Right.
changed later, because we know how the Mexican culture,
But
shifted in
like
the
how
90s.
Rod
And then
said,
they
though,
got the
Mexicans used to
Sureños
fight
all
against
on.
Mexicans, though.
There would be Mexican dudes that would join the Crips.
Yeah.
It was you'd see some white dudes occasionally in some of them, but it did shift, unfortunately, later with the prison politics going out to the streets of Cali. Yeah, and we all know
Yeah, but
about
like I
that.
say, Jeff, in
But
regards
in
to
colors, yeah, they misportrayed a lot of that. I
Oh,
agree
yeah,
with
a whole lot, a whole lot. It was
they
watered
misinterpreted.
down. It was all watered down.
It was all watered down, like the shooting scenes and all that shit, man. Only thing I'm gonna tell you something. Only thing I really liked about the movie Colors was Ice T motherfucking song, man.
Yeah,
That
no,
movie, the
yeah,
whole
colors,
movie Colors.
yeah, everybody
Colors.
knows
I
that
am a
song by heart,
nightmare
right?
walking,
Yeah,
not the man
colors,
talking.
I
colors.
That's
am
the
a
best thing
nightmare
about the
walking.
movie. Yeah, you feel me? That's my big homie. So that's the best thing about the
Hey,
movie.
Ice-T had
But
some
that's
jams
just
back then. New Jack Hustler, he was pretty good at repping. He was from New Jersey originally and
That's
came
where he's
out
yeah,
from.
west.
He's not originally from Cali.
Yeah,
He's from the East Coast.
yeah, he's from the
yeah,
East Coast
yeah.
originally. Came out
Yeah.
But
west
see,
and all that.
a lot of people
You
think,
heard what he said when he saw Tookie. He stayed on the porch.
yeah,
Hey,
but see, a
Tookie was
lot
a
of people
big
think,
dude.
he's from
Yeah,
Houston,
he saw Tookie. He stayed on the porch. Yeah.
I would stay. I would have been hiding. I would have Tookie's a big bro.
Yeah.
You don't want to mess with that dude. Hey,
Right.
he left a decent legacy though. He wrote those children's books, and we'll conclude this up. We got about 5 more minutes to touch on, like with Tookie. He
Okay,
did
that's what I want to tell you about
in
Tookie.
you
I
and the
didn't.
others, and what you learned, and what these kids need to learn from you all.
Right. It was all about influence that I noticed. I tripped off of the power that they wielded, like I said, how they could move in packs like they did, right? I'm a ex-boxer, you know what I'm saying? I won't say professional, but I held the title in Solidad and to atrophy.
Man, you can fight
yeah,
in a
that's
prison. You can
yeah.
fight pretty. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, y'all fight
Yeah,
like
you can
like
tough
like
them
how
out
I
in
was telling. I
prison.
put away a whole lot of demos, down there on Bud Lawns. Matter of fact, I was shot over there. They tried to kill me, probably. Who knows? One of the people's sons that I beat his daddy up. Who knows?
That's a true story, Jeff. What he's telling you right now. I remember when my
Yeah,
partner
no,
got
I
shot on that
absolutely.
night, man.
I
That's a
mean,
true story.
a guy ran me down, and I'm sitting in the store finna buy a beer or a single cigarette. In LA, you can buy single cigarettes.
Yeah, back then especially, they
Yeah,
used to
you can
have
buy
them in a
single
cup if
cigarettes.
you needed to get a smoke and
Yeah.
just have one. Yeah.
So this particular day, I just happened to be at the store, which I'm sure somebody knew I was a creature of habit. And as I'm sitting out there, I see somebody jump out of a car, my peripheral vision. As a boxer, you don't just see straight ahead. You see all the sides and everything. That's the only way
Yeah.
you're gonna stop a punch. You can't stop a left hook, is all you see is just straight ahead. So anyway, the guy hit the parking lot, dumped a whole clip on me.
Ooh.
But by the grace of God, he only got me in the leg. Went
Yeah.
through both of my legs and came out the other leg. I took the bullet out myself. But anyway, gangs can't get you nothing but death or the penitentiary. That's even though you see the glamour, you see the cars and all that, but once the hammer fall, just the time they're gonna give you for being in a gang is gonna be more
Yeah.
than the
Yeah.
time for the crime that you committed. My son just did 10 years because he got a gang enhancement.
Yep.
Yeah, my son just did a straight 10, all level 4. And anybody looking, they know what level 4 mean. Wasn't no breakdown. He go down to a lighter prison or whatever. He was active. So quite naturally, if you active, you're gonna be riding with the program. Nobody's bigger than the program. That's what they say.
That's
Yeah.
what they
Yeah.
say, man. The Crip Mac, man. The way the Crip Mac, he from the fourth generation, but that's the program. But like I say, big homie, you got a very unique story, man. We gonna get you back on here
Yeah,
because
it's a lot. It's a whole lot more to that than what happened in
it's
the
a
hood.
whole lot more. I
Yeah,
know,
yeah. I want you to tell
completely.
them all them stories, about when the guy drops dead with the gun to come kill me, all that shit, right? You remember that one?
Yeah, yeah.
When the guy
I
dropped dead,
remember.
he's coming to murder me. You know that, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember before you got your truck driver license,
Yeah,
man.
before I got to try, that was before the
You was
truck
making
driver
30,
light. Yeah,
40, $50,000 a day.
yeah,
Doing what you was doing. With the sherm.
yeah,
You was the water man for all the people, all the listening orders. Who don't know what
So
water
so
mean?
so
That's
what?
PCP.
I was out before crack was out. I sold water. I didn't sell. I sold cocaine to the movie stars, and I didn't know a whole lot of them. Or I'd have been a movie star, I think.
Yes,
But
sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
Well, hey,
yeah,
that's the big money back then. And if you got to be in the blow business, coke business, and you're in LA, you get hooked up in the hills or Brentwood and those places where all the
yeah,
athletes and movie stars and rock stars
right,
and
right,
rappers
right,
live.
right.
You're
Yeah,
gonna freaking
No,
make a fortune.
let me say something after JC, but I'm gonna tell you something. Like you was talking about that crack era, man. That crack era changed all that, man.
changed
Because man,
everything.
the movie stars, and all that, they was coming to the hood buying the crack. You know,
Oh
and I
yeah,
tell my story on my true crime, man, and my story about the crack era. How they used to pull up on 39th and Dinkum, man, 39th and Western, man. I'm talking about, Charlie Wilson, Natalie
yeah.
Cole,
Charlie,
all
I
of
know
them.
Charlie. I know Charlie. He made the record at Violent Sounds when Ike Turner, when Ike Turner was over there on the ramp.
Good old Ike.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was the man that one of. I'm not gonna say the main supplier. He had many, but he had many drug dealers in his pocket, right? But I was one of them, and I would send my female in there that worked for him with an ounce every day.
You fight
But I
Turner?
would, yeah, I
Well,
was sending them.
back in the day, especially once Mexicans were starting to come up, I'm talking border brother Mexicans, right?
Right.
Once you got hooked up with some of them, you could get damn good prices. You could get the wholesale. I mean, me and Rod know back in the day, Cello, he was around Rod's area of Fresno, and then he was in my
Right.
area. He moved in '92 when I was a kid, and
Yeah.
these guys. Once you got hooked up with one or two well-connected Mexicans, bro,
You
it's
in, you
on.
in.
And you got great
So
prices, and you can sell it at the high rate, bro.
JC, when I get out of YA, the first thing while I'm in YA, I talk to or not every, but a few people, the brothers that lived in San Diego. They had already put me up on how they get it straight across the border. So my first
Yeah,
mission
yeah,
once I got out of jail was secure a job because even though I did time, I still got my license for arc welding and blueprint reading. So I got a job with Rockwell International straight out of Youth Authority. I was one of the first persons to do this back then. If you're going to check it up, you can go in the books and see this. Played football. I was in the CIF league in 1973. I played against Brad Holland and Randy Simmer. Randy Simmer then played for Crescenta Valley, and I played for the jailhouse, Fred C. Nellis. We beat their ass 7-0 in
So
19.
you saying that movie,
They stole that.
back
That's
then,
my story. That's my
that's your
story. I
story.
was the
See,
one that
that's
why.
what I'm talking about. That what exhibit it is. See, I
I
know
don't know
that
how they found
homie.
that story. I don't know how
Yeah,
they got that story. I was
that's
just
your
aligned with
story.
my life.
Yeah, we need to do some research on there, man, because I remember, man, you told me this shit. You told me this shit like in 1999, 2000. We just sitting in my spot, right? I
Yeah,
say,
and then they
yeah,
made the movie after that. Yeah.
they
And
made
next
the
thing I know, they
movie.
made. I had so many people say, "Man, you remember you told me you was in YA, you played football." Only thing different they changed instead of YA, it was camp. It was
It was
camp.
camp.
Yeah.
yeah. That's how everybody referred to. It's crazy when you think about it. Everybody referred to juvenile hall, youth authority, or going to county jail for like a year or less. Oh, I'm going to summer camp for a little bit. It's how it was in Cali, where that's how we all referenced all that shit. We were just like, it was just part of, it's
Hell
crazy to
yeah,
think
Lingo.
back. It was part of our existence. You know what I mean?
it's what just like what they would call me today. I'm a YA baby.
Yeah, you'll hear. Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah,
I'm a YA
But
baby. I
see,
didn't go to high
but
school. I
let me.
didn't go do it. Everything in school I did in YA after 14.
But
yeah.
that's crazy. That's crazy you said that, man. Let's
Hey,
take
hey, hey,
this,
let me
like
tell you the
these
story.
youngsters
Wait,
we
wait,
talk
wait.
about YA babies. They ain't no real YA baby. I thank God I'm not a YA baby because just
Well,
being
you
in
went straight
prison
to the
in the
feds. You
real.
got busted by the DEA and FBI. You got a nice federal term for yourself, Rod. So hey,
Oh yeah,
you're
yeah,
a
yeah.
Fed
But
boy.
back to what I was saying,
Fed
Hey,
boy.
them YA
hey,
babies,
hey, all right,
some real
all
babies. Yes,
right.
sir.
I
I
came
gotta
close
get,
to being a Fed boy too.
I gotta get this one in on grad. They wouldn't let me graduate from Washington High. I really went to Washington High, but when I escaped, you remember when I tell you about I escaped me and Buddha?
Yeah, yeah,
I,
yeah.
I stabbed somebody at the school that day.
Wow.
Some dude or some out of nowhere, man, just come trying to press me like he didn't think I was real. Like, man, that's Steve, killer. And I ended up cutting him real bad, but I didn't catch a case for that. But I cut this dude at Washington, right? So
Yeah.
so when I get out of YA and I come to school to register, I only needed 6 credits, right? So the
Mm-hmm.
lady, I don't know what she said, but anyway, she said, we can't let you get the 6. What you mean I can't get the 6 credits? We don't give you the 6 credits. What you mean give me? Ain't I got to take a class? You can't take it here.
Yeah,
They,
they
see what it was? My co-defendant, he killed a school teacher from Bethune.
mm,
So they tried
Mm.
to tie me. They tried to tie the school in with me with something to do with school, and it didn't. As a matter of fact, I was arrested for shooting in a school at first, and then that's when the first school shootings happened. It shot in the air or whatever.
I wanted to touch on that, man. I wanted to touch on that, big
we
homie.
can listen get to some of that the on the next episode. We're gonna leave a few cliffhangers and just tell you folks there'll be more to this and maybe some members only stuff too. And we'll there you obviously could tell with Steve, CEO Rod, but especially with Steve, definitely a real one. And not just a real one from the street, but a real one in real life as a man making something.
Yeah, I got 9 kids and 14 grandkids.
That's
That's where
right.
it's
That's
at,
right.
bro.
That's right.
That's
Yeah,
where family is way more important
yeah, and
than
I wouldn't
anything,
give
and
that
you
up for
got to be there
nothing.
for them.
I don't care if I had a choice with all this shit that these youngsters is after. They want Versace and all this shit. I wouldn't give up my family for none of that.
Yeah,
That's right.
and
That's right.
real
Yeah,
That's
quick
right.
on the youth, bro. A lot of these kids today, and I ain't trying to sound like an old dude lecturing the youth, but the fact
right.
is, a lot of these kids today, the juvenile halls and the YAs back when we were around, they were built in like the Alcatraz era and still old school with the keys and all that. Nowadays, a lot of these places, the new ones, they look
Yeah.
like a high school campus. They
Oh
got
yeah.
it way better than we ever would have had it,
Oh yeah. The
and then they
kids
still
running that
complain,
shit.
bro. They still
The
complain.
kids running. Them kids running that shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. They are.
the jails and prisons and youth authorities are are today are
They
much better
outdated.
conditions than the shit we had to deal with back when we were
Yeah.
younger.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They got it way better than they think they do. But the
Hey,
lesson is
but
don't do any of it anyways. Stay out.
yeah, before we wrap it up, man, let's just tell the people about your book you got coming out,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. Tell
All
book
the
and we'll
things that
wrap
you
it up.
got. Yeah,
All
the
right.
book you got coming, the book that you got coming out.
Yeah,
About
the
your
book is
story.
coming out
Growing
soon. I'm
up.
just trying to find me a good publisher or something. They want all this money for my story and all that. I'm like, look, I ain't got no hundreds of dollars to pay you to start the story for that. I'm just, trying to hit and miss to try to find how I'm gonna get it started. Whether it would be easy if I could just talk into the mic and it just, and write it out. Can I do
Uh-huh.
that, Rod?
Yeah, you can do that, big homie. Shit, I
Yeah.
told you that. That's
With
why I told
technology,
you,
I
man.
should be able to talk it out and write that out. And we started from
Yeah.
there. I go
Because like
all
I
the way
say,
back
man,
to
you got a hell of a story, man. Like I say, all the OGs they coming out, writing books, getting on a podcast show. Maybe
yeah,
when
yeah.
we might bring you on. I'm thinking about starting my own podcast show under the True Mob Crime umbrella, man. Maybe we can just get together because like I say, you always told me how Rob, little homie, man. You be out there doing your thing. You be doing these shows, man. Tap in, man. I gave my word, man. So like I say, man, to all the listeners and the viewers on True Mob Crime, man. This guy Steve Harris, he's a real one, man. He's a real one. This is first exclusive. Like I said, he got many, 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 many stories to tell y'all about growing up in South Central in LA.
Oh yeah. But it all
Absolutely.
turned, but all didn't start working until I found God and started to serve the Lord. And then that's when
There you go.
everything
There you
changed.
go.
See,
But
right
much
now,
better to serve the Lord than and be a crusader in that world than it is to
exactly. You touched right on it.
Then
be
the
a real
Crusader
crusader.
Right.
before
You
Crip.
Yeah.
you got the name finally,
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
all right, so
that's a good saying. I am a crusader in Christ.
that's right,
Yeah.
baby. So there it is.
Yeah.
make sure you guys, he's definitely going to be back. I appreciate it coming on here. Miss Stephen Harris, as well as, of course, Rod.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate it all. Like,
Thank you,
share, subscribe,
JC.
and also visit the website, because on the website, there's, you can get all the updates and everything on what we're doing and where we're going with some things. And then also at the bottom, pay attention to Daily Prophet Dave. He's the as I like to say, he was the most honest Italian dude that I knew, because back in the day, my mob friends were the least law-abiding Italians that I knew. But the but this dude, Daily Prophet Dave, he'll help you build wealth too. And it's at the bottom of the page. Take a look at it, click on the link. And he's got a track record of success. And me and Gene are both invested in there. We got about 10K invested with him right now. And Rod's going to be throwing in. There's going to be a lot of, the real wealth in this world is legit. You just do it the way,
That's right.
the way that you see the others do it. The real,
It ain't
work,
about looking
do your
over your
thing, and then
shoulder.
invest, bro. So
You should hear these good stories I got. So how I had to sleep with a 45 on my lap every night.
exactly. You ain't
Yeah,
got to do that.
you think I wanted that? Today, when I look back on that, I say, how in the world would I do that shit? I can't believe some of the shit I did and still
Absolutely.
live. But I had to realize it was God. If it wasn't for God, I wouldn't be living today.
Dang
We got to
straight.
get into those stories because Rod will tell you he was a witness to it.
Yeah.
How
That's
they
another
tried
thing.
to.
I'll conclude with, in California, one thing that does make us different also is that if we go online, we go in the media, whatever, we talk about stuff, or we talk about stuff amongst each other, you have to either show paperwork to prove what you're saying,
Right,
or somebody
right.
has to vouch for what you claim you did. Stephen,
Goddamn
myself,
right.
Rod, that's the rules in Cali across the board. And that's one thing that does make us unique, is that
Yeah,
if we're telling you something, court
yeah.
paperwork
It's on
proves it,
paper. It's on paper.
or somebody, or dudes that are in there too, they can vouch for it. And but what we really want to see from everybody, we don't have to validate and prove ourselves with whatever crew we're involved with back in the day. Nowadays, where the place to validate and prove yourself is with your family, with God, and with yourself, and prove that you can be a good man.
Who you want to
Thank
be?
you.
Yeah,
Thanks a lot,
Nice
bottom
you
line.
guys,
human
once
being.
again. All right. We'll see you guys next time around. Like, share, subscribe, and ring the bell.
Peace out.
Peace
All
out.
right,